Our next speaker is Marcelo Gleiser. Marcelo Gleiser is the Appleton Professor of Natural Philosophy and Professor of Physics and Astronomy here at Dartmouth. He graduated from the Catholic University of Rio de Janeiro and obtained his PhD from King's College in London in 1986. After postdoctoral appointments at Fermilab and the Cobley Institute for Theoretical Physics in Santa Barbara, he joined the faculty of Dartmouth College in 1991. Author of over 100 peer-reviewed articles, Gleiser is a world-renowned theoretical physicist. His research focuses on the physics of the early universe, the emergence of complexity, and the origin of life. Gleiser is also the author of 3 books exploring the religious and cultural roots of science.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you. It's a real brave effort to be inside today, I have to say. And we have 8 minutes, and which is about the same time that it takes light to travel from the sun to the earth. So we have to hurry up. And I know this is about purpose, and the personal stories are extremely important. I wanted to take a different take on this. I wanted to talk about the macro version of our collective history. I want to talk about not just our own personal lives, but who we are in a very big scheme of things. And I want to start real big with the universe, and then we'll come down to perhaps our planet. But before I do that, just to put everybody in the mood, let me try to load this thing. Hopefully it'll work. And there is no sound, but you can see it. And beyond, right? So from the beginning of the universe to the next step in our collective history. So, these lights do a lot better than that. So there is this French philosopher who lived around the same time as Newton did, called Bernard de Fontenelle, and he wrote a book which is a really amazing book which is it's called Conversations on the Plurality of Worlds, where he speculates on the existence of extraterrestrial life in 1686, right? And the cool thing about it is that the book is all about a dialogue between the philosopher and a marquise, so a woman protagonist talking, who was actually smarter than the philosopher, which is very rare for the 17th century. But the whole point of the book is about who are we and why we ask these questions. And there is one saying in the book, which I think is phenomenal, which is something like this, that all philosophy is the product of two things only: curiosity and short-sightedness. And I think that's absolutely right, because we do have this urge to understand, right, to find meaning in everything we do. On the other hand, we can't always find the answers, right? And there's this tension between the urge to discover and our own limitations. And a lot of our personal history and our collective history, and the glorious and the horrendous and the monstrous, as you saw in this video that I showed, all these things are, in a sense, sign of this deep confusion that we have when we try to find meaning in our lives in the right ways and in the wrong ways. Right? We should always be mindful of that. And one of the things that bothers me a lot as a scientist is that people have, not everybody, but a lot of people have this view that science, the more we understand about the universe, the less important we become, right? And it's called the Copernican revolution, right? So the more we know about where we are in the universe, the more insignificant we become. So first, we were the center, we were created in God's image, so we were the real good thing, right? And then Copernicus pushes out to the side, the sun becomes the center. And then, of course, the sun is not the center, it's just one star among billions of other stars in our own galaxy. And nowadays, our collective picture of the universe is something kind of like this, which is one of the most, you cannot see it very well, but it's one of the most magnificent pictures ever taken in our history, which is essentially, it's called the Hubble Deep Field, one of the Hubble Deep Field pictures, which shows in here a chunk of the universe, which is hundreds of millions of light years across, right? And each one of these little dots, you can see the big blurry thing. Well, these are galaxies, right? Just like our Milky Way is a galaxy. That means each one of these things has hundreds of billions of stars in it, right? And then you say, oh, and these little guys here are just stars. No, they're galaxies too. And each one of them has hundreds of billions of stars in it, and each one of these stars is like a sun, right? And now we know, thanks to the Kepler mission and a bunch of other missions, that most stars have planets, right? So we are not the only planet at all in the universe. And then we say, wow, so if the Milky Way has 100 billion stars, and stars have an average of 5 planets or so each, on average, and they have moons, there may be trillions of worlds in our galaxy alone. And you say, we really are irrelevant. And then physicists come and say, well, wait, it gets worse, because what is the universe made of? Well, protons, right? Electrons, atoms. Yeah, we are. And what you can see in the universe is, but that is only 4% of the stuff that is actually out there, right? 96% of the universe is invisible to our instruments, and we cannot make heads or tails of what it is now. So you say, are we really that insignificant? And the answer is absolutely not. Because what we are finding out now is exactly the opposite, is that Earth, even though there are so many worlds out there, Earth is extremely important, is a very rare kind of planet. And if I had another 24 minutes, which I don't, I would explain why Earth is so important. But the point is that it is. And more than that, the history of life on Earth is also unique. It's a sequence of accidents that happen here that if you change a little bit of the history, everything would be different. We wouldn't be here. And yet we are here. And we are this aggregate of atoms and molecules capable of thinking and having awareness and understanding the importance of life. So from the macro perspective to this perspective, that Earth is special. More than that, we are special because we are rare. There is not, I can guarantee, there is not going to be another human race out there in the universe. There's just this one. And this one is very precious, but as far as we know, there is not another very intelligent alien out there. If there is, we don't know about them, they don't know about us. And for all purposes, we are alone, right? In this very special place. And if that is true, we have as our sacred duty to preserve what we have, to be the guardians of life. And that effort starts in each one of us, within each one of us, and our families, our communities, and our planet as a whole. So that is the message of purpose of the people. Thank you.